So, so, really belong you? Yeah. Okay, so, good evening.
Good evening, sir.
How are you today? A little bit late. We are somehow late. We are somehow late, but we're going to proceed with our theory today. We want us to at least understand this topic. One of the most important topics you need to understand if you are to brew coffee. One of those most important topics that you need to understand. If you want to brew coffee, or if you want to make coffee, these are the two things that you need to know. What you call a brew and extraction. Brew, it is that actual second stroke means water is going to be in contact with the coffee grounds. Now, brew time, it is that contact time. How long the coffee grounds and water are supposed to kiss each other, hug each other. Now, the brew time will depend on the method of brewing or the particular coffee you're trying to brew. This time is always going to be allocated for the very people who introduce those very brewers. If it's an espresso, we are allocated, we are supposed to have 20 to 30 seconds if you're dealing with the espresso machine. If it's a V60, they are recommending us to use a contact time of about 2 minutes to 3 minutes. Ekigambo bulu kitegeeza contact amakati amazzi n'emmwanyi bwe bigenda okusisinkanira. Tuli bulungi? What are you doing? Usikulaba, go and sit that side. Nja kulaba ng'emirongo tigitiikinga, giba tigitiikinga nze nja kuba nkulaba. Niwo oba ogenda. So tugambe brew, it is the contact between coffee grounds and water. How long? Now, how long will definitely depend on the kind of coffee you're trying to make. These brew times are always going to be allocated by the very people who introduced that very kind of coffee. It's a V60, we are allocated somewhere between 2 minutes to 3 minutes. If it's an espresso, just as you see this espresso machine, if I'm to pull any shot of an espresso and to use 20 to 30 seconds, error press it, go for about 2 minutes and 30 seconds. On take it now, when you come back extraction, extraction. To extract is to, it is okay. In our normal way of how to understand what you call an extraction, is to pull something out of something. Is to pull something out of something. The word extraction in coffee, it refers to how water has to dissolve what is within the coffee grounds. Now, before you start to extract, you need to understand what is actually into the coffee grounds. And what you call coffee beans, these are the whole beans. Then what we call coffee grounds, it is those very coffee beans that you've chopped, or you've cut with the grinder. Those are the ones that we refer to as coffee grounds. And the reason as why you're trying to grind them, it is to expose what is actually into these very coffee grounds. Now, what is inside the coffee bean? What is inside a coffee bean? Munda muno ze tuyita soluble compounds. Muno mulimu oils, mulimu natural sugars, mulimu acids, mulimu bitter compounds. What else? Acid, oils, natural sugars, acids, bitterness, as well as the caffeine. Zino, ze tuyita soluble compounds. Something soluble, it is that very something that can dissolve in water. Just as you can get sugar or salt. The moment you put them into water, and you get maybe a spoon, you try to stir aggressively, you will see that maybe you cannot see any crystal into your water. Anything soluble, it is anything that can dissolve in water. Now, These are the ones that we always know as insoluble compounds. Soluble, those are the very compounds that we are supposed to dissolve from the coffee grounds. Then we enjoy them into water as our coffee. But to attain this, or to receive these flavor compounds, it will definitely depend on the nature of the coffee you're trying to brew. Or it will definitely depend on the type of coffee you're trying to brew. If it's an espresso, you're supposed to at least to get this in 20 to 30 seconds. Mama, jolly tondava. Jolly tondava. And you need to be around so that you can definitely. Let's see. You can reduce. Zino zetuita soluble compounds. When you're trying to brew coffee, whichever barista you're trying to say, as you're trying to pour water onto the coffee, is trying to do what you call an extraction. What is to extract? It is to dissolve the soluble compounds or the soluble substances from the coffee grounds. When you're trying to brew coffee, every method of brewing or every type of coffee, their rate of extraction is going to differ. You only need to have 20 to 30 seconds to extract this with the help of an espresso machine. V60, you only need to have 2 minutes to 3 minutes to receive this. You get my point? Chemex. To receive all these flavor compounds, you only need 3 minutes to 4 minutes. That action, that moment when water settles with the coffee grounds, it is what you call the brew time. Are we good? Then, Ichigambe extraction. This is the when water starts to dissolve the soluble substances. Every coffee that you're going to brew, we need to do what you call an extraction. What is to extract? It is that action of how water has to pull the flavor compounds. And remember, these ones, they will definitely come in different sequences or at different time. When you're extracting bitterness has to come last. When you're extracting natural sugars will come second. And when you're extracting, what comes first, they are the acids. Now, to receive all these flavor compounds, it will depend on the nature of the coffee you're trying to brew. What is to extract? In coffee language, or in our world of coffee, an extraction, this is when water dissolves the soluble compounds, the one I had listed here, from the grounded coffee. And the reason as why we always grind these particles, number one, to expose to reveal the flavors that are inside these very coffee beans. This is why we need to grind. Number two, we are grinding these coffee beans to create resistance. Like for example, if it's an espresso has to go with fine particles. If the particles are not fine, of course, there won't be any resistance. Water will just run fast. So you need to understand what kind of a grain size suits that very coffee. If you're dealing with an espresso, you're supposed to have fine particles. Particles more like flour. So those are the particles that you're supposed to use as you're trying to pull a shot of an espresso. Then when you get up to medium fine, particles are going to be slightly to medium fine. The particles, those are the very particles that are supposed to give us the best flavor compounds depending on that very coffee. Because it does not allow the water to clog. If I use fine particles of a V60, the water will be more restricted. Amazi gatagaita mochi bulungi kubanga amazi particles butono nnyo. Then if the particles are too big, there is no resistance. Water will just run faster.